family, we back. Listen, myself, my sons, Eli, aka the man in the mirror, Justice, aka Poetic Justice, and Nasty Nate Dog, aka the Lobster. Listen, sometimes the world gets crazy, so we here to swing at the world with a vicious uppercut. Today we're going to take the world out cold. Got a few new segments for you today. That's after we go over our main stuff. For one, my son, Man in the Mirror, is going to bring a little sports segment to you at the end. We're going to talk about 2 sports subjects. Who knows what he has in store. And Nasty Nate has got a segment called The World Swings Back, where people are put through calamities in the world and find a way to survive. So, been a crazy week. For me, the most exciting thing this week is that the NFL just came back. I know all my sons is hyped for that, especially the 3 Ravens fans at this table.
I'm depressed after this.
Hey, he's mad because his team lost 40-0. That's wild.
40-0.
Damn, was it 40-0?
Yeah,
40-0.
I turned it on. The Cowboys. Yeah.
Wow. So
there's no coming back.
We was at home too. It just makes it look like a laughing stock, you know.
Damn. Well, we know a thing or two about the Giants losing big. We beat them in the Super Bowl back in 2000. 2000, you know. So had to put a Ray Lewis in the boys. But hey, listen, interesting year of football getting ready to start. We won't get too deep into it till we get into sports, but I will say Lamar Jackson didn't quite look like Lamar Jackson, but we do got a lot of new pieces. We got a new offensive coordinator, new receivers, new injuries. That happens the first game of every season. So it was disappointing, you know. But otherwise, look, it has been a crazy, ridiculous week in the news. You guys know we brought up Blueface and what is it, Cristiano Rock? Cristiano Rock.
Yeah.
So we got a new incident with them, which it seems like, dude, every time I scroll down my timeline, it's something with these. But today I'm seeing that Child Services was called on Blueface for shooting video with strippers while his son was present.
Awesome.
Yep, I saw that.
Did you see the video?
Well, I seen like
I didn't see the video,
I saw something else.
but I
about
did
his
see
son.
it was wild.
I've seen another thing about his son.
How old is the son? It's the newborn?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's talking about the newborn.
Okay. So let me start here. First, I'll say Blueface and Krishan are a mess. Let's start there. We all know that. We acknowledge that. This isn't new. They make bad decisions. I said in last week's episode that it seems like they're just a bad influence on each other. I don't think they're bad human beings. They're just young people that are lost. With this incident, here's what I'm going to say, and people may not like my take. Was it in bad taste? Yes, it was in bad taste. Stupid. You already know that all eyes are on you, and you're going to have your baby around strippers. But, these babies, this baby is too young to know what's going on, okay? It's a newborn baby. So, you call Child Services. I want one of you to explain to me how exactly the baby was hurt, physically or mentally, by being around strippers at a few days old.
This sounds like a reach. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of get it, like kind of like a small 40, but like you said, the baby is so young, he's not gonna know. He's not even gonna remember. Even if you tell him later on, he's not gonna remember.
Yeah,
It's not like he's the one interacting with these strippers.
Right. And now I can see if they were smoking blunts,
Oh yeah.
drinking around him, then there's an issue for sure. But if it's some strippers shaking their booty around a newborn baby, is it bad taste? Yeah. Is it going to hurt or scar the baby? No. So, to me, it just feels like people kind of, I mean, they do bring a lot of it on themselves, you know, but at the same time, I think this one's a little bit of a stretch, you know. Rick Ross, Young men, do y'all know who Rick Ross is?
Of course, Ross of boss.
Okay, okay.
Facts.
I happen to know Rick Ross a little more than other people, but we'll get into that later. Rick Ross gives some of the best advice today that I've ever heard. And I will say for Rick that several pieces of advice that I've seen him give over the last year have been good. But this one, he says, Rick Ross has a warning for the young hustlers, CEOs, and entrepreneurs. Your biggest enemy is fast money from strangers. Always ask yourself, why me? Now listen, as y'all know, I created another org. I rarely am going to mention said org in this podcast because this podcast is going to be built on its own merits, okay? But that org built up pretty big, and for the longest, I told myself I wouldn't take any money, I wouldn't take any investments, I wouldn't take anybody trying to partner up. Finally, I gave in and did that, and, you know, in some of the instances, I strongly regret it, and what he's saying here is very true. Now, y'all are young, you haven't had the luck yet to start your own business, but do you guys understand where he's coming from saying don't take money from strangers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To an extent, yeah.
Why do you think he's saying that? I want to get y'all's take on it.
Because he feels like you can have a better passive income than just one little, 10,000 here.
So having somebody take a chunk of your business and giving you a chunk of money is kind of an L when you can sit back, build your business, and let it. Right.
Do it on your own.
You know, nothing comes easy. You gotta. It's better to do it on your own, I think. And Rick Ross, a lot of people don't realize he is financially smart.
Yeah, he's
No.
somebody living good right
Look,
now.
I've
seen
seen this
him,
man. You know how much money he has, and he tried to get that quote on getting his trees cut. You remember that?
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
nah, hell nah, I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna do it myself.
I'm gonna go out there. So he went out there and cut his own trees. So the man knows what he's talking about.
Listen, and to that, what Rick Ross said about, the quote wasn't good, so I'm going to cut it myself. That impacted me when he said that, because at the time, I went from having dirt broke, no money, to having a little bit of money. And, my wife and I started spending money and paying people to do stuff that we could have did ourselves. And I started to realize, man, here goes 300 there. Here goes 200 there. Here goes 500 there. And this is what he's talking about. You're basically throwing away money. Keep your money in your pocket and do the job yourself. Money don't come as easy as people think it does, If you guys had your own business, what would be your goal? Would you start said business and try to take it to the top on your own? Or would you do what some people do and start a business and try to bring in those big investors?
Well, I don't really trust others when it comes to stuff like that. I'd much rather build it on my own and get the income where it's needed.
That's like that Shark Tank show.
Right.
They go in, and a lot of those people get screwed in the long run. Because they hear that they're going to get this quick money.
Yep.
They get it, and then it doesn't go the way they thought it was going to go, and then they end up getting ran into the ground.
Well, that's it. Guys, if you're out there, if you're a young entrepreneur, an old entrepreneur, or an old person who's young at entrepreneuring, be careful. There's sharks out there in the water. Listen, next on my agenda, this one here, okay? I don't have a lot of context to this next subject I'm going to bring up, but I don't really need a lot of context. I looked into it, and I found out that the dude is legit. I don't know what school or what department this man is from. There was a school police officer. All y'all have seen where they got a police officer in the school. He's the officer for that school, for the kids of that school. This school police officer was caught sending provocative texts to a 14-year-old student of the school. Okay? Now, apparently, her uncle got a hold of the text and comes and confronts this officer and says, hey, dude, this is what you said. The guy couldn't deny it.
Right.
But now, the cop was I don't want to say smart because that's giving him any compliment and he don't deserve a compliment. He was cunning and slick because he knows the law. So he said stuff that was borderline, that he couldn't really be arrested for, but that was obviously predatory. You're now a father. Imagine somebody like that talking to one of your children.
It's infuriating.
Or,
especially people in a position of trust.
yeah.
Like that man, you see it too. And I'm glad nowadays people are fronting people like this. That's the one good thing about video cameras. You're able to go shove it in their face and prove it and put it out in the world and let them know.
Expose them, But you, Elijah and Justice, you got little brothers and sisters. Now imagine one of your little brothers and sisters, some freaking police officer, messaging them horrible stuff, I mean, you guys ever had a bad experience when you were younger? I mean, obviously we're not going to go deep, but have you ever felt uncomfortable with a person of authority when you were young, or has it been pretty safe for you?
No, it's been pretty
It's
safe
been
for
mostly
me.
safe.
Luckily enough.
For the most part.
Well, I will tell y'all, and I spoke about this the last time, what happened to me wasn't similar to this in the sense of, I guess, sexual in the nature. It was more so an adult in a bad position taking advantage of me being a child. I was at a correctional facility called Salem Industrial Home for the Youth. And I'm going to call your name out, Elliot Sadler. Elliot Sadler was a correctional officer there at Industrial Home for the Youth. And we were watching a movie called The Chase. It had Charlie Sheen in it. This was in 1994. And there's a scene where the whole movie's a car chase. And he's got this girl reporter with him. Well, they have sex in the car while they're driving. So we're a bunch of young boys, so we're all sitting there cheering and stuff. For whatever reason, he singled me out. Takes me back to my cell, handcuffs me, boop, 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 punished me. Now, I was young. I was a mean kid, so I just basically trash talked him while I was bleeding. But I can tell you that it did mess with me mentally. When you're a kid and an authority figure does something like that, it impacts you no matter what it is, because you expect that authority figure to guide you and protect you and be a part of, the good parts of your life. Did you guys mostly have good experiences from your teachers and people that were authority when you were growing up?
I did, but there sure was a couple of stories that went around the school about, it was mostly with girls. It wasn't really with guys,
Well, so without saying any names, what do you mean, like teachers and girls?
Yeah, I'm not going to go too in depth with it, but, it was just teachers making certain comments to girls and like stuff of that nature,
Well, how can you be an authority figure and see a young person and even feel comfortable doing that? Did you hear stuff like that?
I've heard many different stories like
You read
that.
stories like that, and I think they really think they're gonna get away with it too. They're like, man, I've been working here 20 years, and I got all this respect from my peers and stuff around me, and they probably think that's enough to.
Well, that's what they think. If an accusation comes out, nobody's going to believe it, and that's that. But I'll tell you, child predators in general. What I do love is there's cameras everywhere now. Yeah. Everywhere. Yeah. So, if you do some bad stuff, it's going to be on camera, and you will get caught, deservedly so. Next subject. This one here is big. This subject for me, and Elijah brought this to my attention. Then I read deeper into it, and it is boggling my mind. New Mexico governor faces a call for impeachment after banning concealed carry in New Mexico. And if I recall, I can't remember the speech she gave. If you got that, posted on this vid, but...
No, I thought it was concealed and open.
It is. I think
okay.
it is.
Okay.
She banned guns.
Treason.
Yeah.
Yeah, what the...
It is. I mean, listen.
Can't do that.
She don't have the authority.
Nobody does.
Nah, she thinks she can really trump the amendment.
No. I mean, come on.
Oh, what the...
And if you heard her rationale, you know what? I want to pull up what she said.
It was over one shooting.
Really?
Yeah, it was over an 11-year-old boy.
We know I can get
And she was like, you know what? No more guns. 30 days.
That's just here. I want to hear what she said. Her logic was just insane.
Public health emergency in her state and in its largest city, Albuquerque. She
Bear with
suspended
us.
the right to carry firearms in public. That suspension by Governor Michelle.
Oh, nice. Okay, so it's not going to say it. I think maybe this is it. There was
crazy as hell.
her logic. Just here it is.
Over an hour ago.
Licensed security.
I warned everyone that we expect a challenge. Probably while you're writing this, we're getting a challenge, and that's the way it should work. But I have to take a tough, direct stand where basically I'm just ignoring the fact that we lost an 11-year-old. Another child.
The order is effective as of today, and again, only applies to Bernalillo County.
So, okay. Listen. Deep subject here. All right.
There's so many ways that can just go wrong. Horribly.
Horribly wrong. Okay. And here's the problem. Let's start with this. If a governor can just decide that they're going to ban something that is a constitutional right, what's next?
Yeah.
We have a constitutional right to not face cruel and unusual punishment.
Next, they're going to start putting soldiers in our houses again and everything. You know, we're going to just all kinds of craziness out here.
If we let this stand, look, I want to say this to y'all as clearly as I possibly can. I've been one of the people that feels that America needs to tighten up its firearm laws. When I see these groups of children in these school shootings, it's terrifying. It's sad. I am a father. When I see it, it scares me to death. It makes me want to homeschool my children. Okay. I also know, for one, that banning weapons is not going to fix nothing. Okay. These people that are doing this are going to commit the worst crime there is, which is murder. Right. So if they're willing to commit murder, you don't think they're willing to carry a gun illegally? Of course they are.
The prohibition.
Right.
Same outcome essentially, and then they went as far as poisoning the alcohol to try to kill people. What are they going to start rigging these guns to explode and stuff when we buy them?
Who remembers Prohibition? I don't know if you guys are, well, of course we're all too young to have experienced it, but Prohibition, alcohol, the government comes out and they try to ban alcohol, okay?
Everybody riots.
Well, for one, there was riots, but more so, it started the underground profits of smuggling alcohol. Al Capone and a lot of the old school 20s gangsters made a fortune off of stuff because
The bootleggers.
Right.
The bootleggers. You see the little bottles with Al Capone on it. The bootleggers. They were bootlegging alcohol, and I think they were doing it in the movie Life.
That's right.
One
yes.
of the best movies of all time. By the way,
Hey,
go check
shout
out
out.
Life.
The gun line.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, let me say this. Take, weed for example, okay? They just made weed legal. I know a lot of street dudes that were hurt by that. Hurt. You know why? Because when weed was illegal, people were allowed to and able to take an ounce of weed and sell it for $400 or $500 because it's illegal and they're taking a huge risk. But as soon as the government woke up, said, we're going to legalize this, suddenly weed is not so valuable anymore because you can just go buy it. Same with alcohol. You take alcohol and make it illegal, well, it ups its value. Guess what? Guns is the same thing. You take these guns, you make them illegal, you're creating a vacuum where, for one, criminals are going to start selling them at a more rapid rate. People are going to start hiding and concealing them. And most importantly, people that need them, the good guys, won't have them. Okay? So you go in these schools, there's been instances where these mass shooters have came into different places and started to shoot, and they got stopped.
They got iced out.
They got iced out.
Somebody wasn't playing that.
And luckily so. You know, now, does that always happen? Of course, not always. But you know what? At least it gives people a fighting chance. Can you imagine, I go back to the Aurora theater shooting. This happened in Aurora, Colorado. The movie Dark Knight Rises. At the premiere of that.
Oh yeah, I remember that dude. Yeah, I'm not going to say it. I'll let you tell this. But yeah, that was wild.
Now imagine, you're sitting in the theater, you're watching this. People see this dude come out in all black, throws smoke grenades. They think it's some stunt for the movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Then he starts shooting. And he starts killing people. And you're all trapped in this crowded theater. Nobody had a weapon. No, he was shooting fish in a barrel. Okay? And they were defenseless, y'all. Defenseless. Can you imagine you're in there with your kids or your niece or your nephew or your little sister or brother, and you got no way to protect yourself? That's what this governor is doing right now. Okay? The criminals are not going to say, well, this law passed, so guess we can't have guns no more. You know,
We're gonna do it regardless.
they're going to do it. And
These people forget that they're elected by the people.
right.
It's not like
Exactly.
like she thinks that she just came into office and now
It's a
she's just
democracy.
running stuff. They're gonna get her out of there, and then that little silly law is gonna be out the window.
I'll say this last thing, guys. For me, I consider myself a hardcore liberal. I used to. I still have liberal values, but people like this lady have embarrassed me because I think that she has an unrealistic view of the world. And I think that, stuff like what she's doing makes it harder on everybody, and it makes this world less safe. And she's trampling our constitutions along the lines of politics and liberals and conservatives and crazy people. How many of you know who the Proud Boys are?
I know who that is. I think you've told me a couple of stories.
I'm getting a blank look from you and a blank look from you.
Never.
No
The
idea.
Proud Boys. You're talking about that group.
The group, the Proud Boys.
The group of men that go. I'm not even going to get into it like that, but
So the Proud Boys, let me tell you, depending on who you ask, the Proud Boys are a group of New Age neo-Nazis with certain beliefs on racism, and they believe you should be able to say racist things and do racist things. Then others say they're just a group of freedom fighters who want American rights. And what they do, as long as I've seen it, they prop up a picture of this gentleman. And they say there's no way that the Proud Boys can be a racist group because this guy is a part of it. Okay? Horseshit.
Well,
All right? Let me tell you, that's BS. All right? First of all, and this is going to be controversial, what I have to say. I'm not going to shy away from controversy. I know that there's been many instances with blacks and Hispanics where they haven't seen eye to eye, and there's been some unfortunate racism there, okay? What I've seen and experienced out of the Proud Boys is that they're mostly racist toward black people. And so I don't put it past this man, and from what I've read, he is racist toward black people, okay? Which is unfortunate. Now, he was just sentenced, surprise, surprise. Now, listen, surprise, surprise. He was the only minority out of the Proud Boys, and he got the biggest prison sentence out of all of them, okay? He was sentenced to 22 years, all right?
Talk about a turnaround, huh?
Yeah, that's what you get, buddy. You put yourself out as the face of this organization. Let me tell y'all, and my wife, who's behind the camera, which I'm not going to ask her to answer this, but her and I went to the protest down in Charlottesville, okay? And I went down there, I'm not going to lie. I literally had my boxing wraps on and my mouthpiece walking around Charlottesville, okay? I came looking for fights, okay? I was ready. Because what happened was the first time I went there and I seen the alt-right, they were looking for fights. They were walking around with weapons and all kinds of stuff. So I said, all right, well, I'm going to go down, let's get it cracking. So I went down there, all right? The biggest incident I had, there was a Hispanic guy in the middle of a group of young white men, and me and him almost got into a fight. He had a bandana wrapped around his hand. I knew he had brass knuckles under it. And I found out later I was right. Just 20 minutes before that, him and the white guys he was with had jumped a young black guy and put 50 staples in his head. Okay? The video's online. Put 50 staples in his head. He wasn't going to do that to me. I kept trying to call him out of the crowd. By then, they were with a police escort. But what I will tell you is, once again, he was Hispanic and he was right in the middle of it, you know, basically promoting racism, bigotry, etc. My question is this. Do you guys think because the Proud Boys have a few Hispanic members that they can't be racist?
No.
No, not at all.
Stop.
That's like saying your third cousin has a little bit of color in him, so you're not racist.
Yeah.
Right. No, that's right.
It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Have you seen a dude named Uncle Ruckus?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Uncle Ruckus.
Right. So
They say they got a few black friends, and then they could start, you know, throwing
Yeah,
words
exactly.
My friend's
around.
black, so I'm not racist. Is basically
Not how it
what
works
all the
at
Proud
all.
Boys are saying.
well, and listen, nail on head, guys. And I'm going to say this to you. You know, in the end, it's a shame because I have black and Hispanic in me. That's first. I love my Hispanic brothers. And for the most part, Hispanics and blacks, when I was in prison and when I was in the streets, clicked pretty well. There is some areas out in LA especially where there's some friction between Mexicans and blacks. But I say to y'all this, the Proud Boys, all you got to do is dig a little bit. You'll find that they have a racist agenda and racist motto. It don't matter if they have 500 Hispanic members. They still got a lot of alt-right members who are racist. And they got the prison sentence they deserve. You stormed the Capitol looking, you guys understand why they stormed the Capitol?
Yeah.
I mean, basically they were saying the election was stolen. They knew there was some kind of hearing going on. So they came to intimidate the members of that hearing and get them to fix the election. That's basically an insurrection.
They ran right up in there with guns. They attacked police and everything that day.
Well, listen, here's where it gets crazy. A lot of those folks that were there that day are the ones saying, back the blue, support your police. Those same people, if you watch, were beating up cops that day. So which is it? Do we back the blue or are you assaulting police officers? I'm confused.
It's back the blue until it doesn't fit their agenda.
Exactly.
You know, and what's crazy too is they're actually getting caught by the FBI. You see it like every week now. People are getting caught. They're looking for these people. If you were there, you're gonna get caught. I'm gonna just say
I know a
that.
couple of people.
Yeah, and also, we know a couple people who was there that day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say their name, but they fit the description for sure. But listen, let me say this to you, man. In the end, that racist BS is not going to fly. America's moving forward. Well, here's the beautiful thing. When I was in school in Pittsburgh, it was all black and Hispanic. You were either black or you were Hispanic. I was one of the very, very few mixed kids in that school, right? Fast forward, when I went to these kids' school later on, there were so many mixed kids. Like, I couldn't tell what race each kid was. And I thought that was a beautiful thing because they predict, if you look it up, they predict what the average American will look like 50 years from now. And it's my complexion. They're going to be, nondescript. And I think that's okay. I have nothing against pure black, pure white, but I think it's beautiful that we're all going to meld as one. They call America the melting pot. Let it be, Check this out. This is a little less, I don't want to say it's less intense because it's actually very intense, but it's less politically motivated. I posted on Facebook the other day, you guys seen this? In Yemen, there was a guy at an airport who, I still don't understand exactly how this happened, but it was all caught on camera. I warn you, if you look this up, it is disturbing. This guy is an airport worker in Yemen, and he goes to adjust a fan in the airport. He touches the fan, and you see him just stick like this. And at first, when I first started watching the video, I didn't understand what I was seeing. And he's just stuck. And then you see him, his eyes start getting real wide, and you can see his face turning purple, and you realize he's being electrocuted. He's being electrocuted right in front of us. And it's crazy. The craziest part of the video is there's an older gentleman that's one of the employees right here you see in the vest.
Yeah,
that
that's it.
And he can't do nothing, can he?
he walks right past him. He doesn't realize he's being electrocuted. Okay? This guy gets up. The guy being electrocuted is from me to you.
I don't care what anybody says. There's no way I wouldn't have known.
How?
There's
Like,
no way. The dude's
Some
like
people,
this.
some people just don't pay attention.
Like he literally, like you're gonna see the video probably. You'll see that he almost has to bump into this guy to walk by
How
him.
could you not see that he's
There's just
rigid?
no
He was
way.
like this. He was rigid, but
I see that out the corner of my eye without
People
even
just
walking
don't
by.
care.
People
don't
are
pay
just
attention.
worried about their own thing. You know?
well, either he was clueless and in his own world
Or just didn't care.
didn't care. Maybe he didn't like the guy.
It's crazy.
But I'll say this in his defense: he was elderly, perhaps. He had bad hearing, bad vision. You never know.
Yeah.
But I'll just say, being electrocuted is a scary thing. I just got some additions to my boat, and my friend hooked it up, and I had just seen this video, and these additions had to hook to a battery, and of course my boat's going to be in the water. So I was like, dude, I better not end up like this guy. Are you sure this is hooked up right? And he's like, yes, I got you, my friend. He's from Bulgaria. But, just scary thinking that you could be electrocuted. Which I want to speak on one more calamity before we go to y'all. There was another video I posted. I don't know if you guys seen this. It was disturbing. A house that I guess they disconnected a gas stove down in their basement, and you see this beautiful suburban neighborhood, right? And you just see this gigantic fireball. Boom! You hear it. It sounds like an earthquake. House blows to smithereens, kills 6 people.
Damn.
Kills 6 people. I actually want to show you all
That's
this
why I
one
don't
quick.
be messing around with stoves.
Like the aftermath? Or the video?
No, there's a video
I
of
think I've
it.
seen the video. You shared
I don't
it?
know if
Did
I
you
wanna
share
see
this?
Yeah, it was horrifying. Check this out.
Oh yeah. Look at that.
Damn.
Yeah.
You can see if the blast actually knocks stuff down in
Watch-
the house.
What caused you?
So they believe that a gas tank for a water heater or something down in the basement was hooked up wrong because they tried to do it. Listen, folks, gas is dangerous, especially in a house. That's why my wife, she does a lot of the around the house mechanic stuff. Yeah, don't make fun of me. But the bottom line is, I tell her all the time when it comes to gas, be careful. Because you never know if the line gets hooked improperly or there's a gas leak, somebody sparks something, that's what's going to happen, And 6 people died in that, a man and his daughter. I don't know if I'm weird. I want to ask you guys this. When I see certain stories, something happened with this or that, I always go look them up on Facebook. And I looked the father up that died, and it was so sad because, you could tell he was just a good guy, posting pictures with his daughter and his family. And it's just sad. They probably don't even know what hit him,
Well, that's actually a good thing, right?
It is, yeah.
In the midst of it all, it's a good thing that they went out quickly. And
Well,
did that.
Right.
I always think you guys heard about, of course you heard about Kobe's passing.
Oh, yeah.
And I always think what it was like in that helicopter in that last few minutes, it's morbid to think about, but it's hard for me as a father not to think about because there were several little girls in the helicopter. Kobe was a dad. I know his first instinct would have been try to comfort your daughter and tell her not to be afraid, but can you just imagine being in that helicopter?
It's very funny.
And I'm sure the pilot's telling them, we're going down. We are going down. I just wonder how quickly it happened,
You could probably hear the alarms. That's like that Seagate thing that just happened.
Yes.
They actually came out with a theory that said that noise that everybody heard was actually the sub imploding then. And then
Really?
they just wasted everybody's time the next couple of days after that.
I hope that that's what happened, that it was an implosion. Because if it was an implosion, those people didn't even know what hit them.
And you know what's actually scary is they said that when they were going down, they could hear the carbon fiber around the ship cracking and stuff and breaking. And the further they went down, and what's even scarier, the scariest part about it, they were going up. They had something that was going to float them up, And in the middle of floating up, they lost power and dropped all the way back down, and that's what got them.
Now you can imagine when you're going down and you're hearing those noises, you're probably scared.
Alarms flashing and stuff.
But you're thinking, well, it's okay. And probably the pilot, it's like, oh, it's okay. You know, on the submarine, that's normal. And then next thing you know, you don't exist. Because they say when that sub implodes, it just that's it.
Just disappears.
You know?
That's crazy.
Yeah. Last calamity here. This is my last subject, and I want to hear what you guys got. Then we're going to get to our sports section in a few. You guys heard about the Uvalde Elementary shooting. So this is just heartbreaking. They found 10-year-old Uzziah Garcia's math notebook, and it had a bullet hole right through it. He was one of the 18 students that passed away. And I think back to that. You know, I don't know how much you guys remember about that incident. I don't know if you've seen the videos.
I remember the cops didn't do nothing.
They didn't
That's
do a damn.
I remember they were scared to death to go in. That's why I say armed teachers, and armed janitors, make the principal arm up. We got to do something
But
else
it's
other
just
than
sad
ban
to
guns.
see we need all that.
Exactly. It's a shame that we do need that, but the fact is we do.
Yeah, you see those bulletproof backpacks now that they're coming. That's
I saw a bulletproof room. Like you could.
Oh yeah. You put a little
Really?
cover back.
Pull a
Yeah.
lever.
It's a little
Tiny
cover that you
little-
hide in, and it's bulletproof, and it locks.
Get out of here. Well, listen, if we need it, we need it. But you know, those officers from Uvalde, there's nothing you can say to me that will make me understand why you did what you did. They stood by while kids were being slain. That was it. They stood by. And guys, I want to show you something. If you want to see what a good police response.
Oh, I know what you're talking about too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to find this.
I'm trying to remember the name.
Was that 10th police respond shooting?
Yeah,
Tennessee.
they were professional. as
Yeah,
hell about
yeah.
this.
Watch this. You guys want to see what good cops look like? Watch this. These guys ain't no joke. These guys are national heroes.
Cool, calm, and collected. You can
Yep.
tell this guy, he's
Calm and
ready
collected,
for it.
going right for it.
He got
Yep.
the blicky. and
He's not playing.
All right, no.
If you are a Nashville police officer, I love y'all. I mean that.
Yeah, for real though. Look
They
at
mean
it.
business.
Yeah, watch. They're not playing no games.
Hey, Officer Rex Engelberg is this hero's name.
You hear the alarms?
Look, they got a team. My man,
Crazy.
he
got
got the Pope.
They not
Who's
playing.
going in?
Yeah.
Yeah, they find this person too.
Yep. Watch this. And this video is on YouTube, guys. You can check it out. Nashville police respond to school shooter. Look at this. Cool, calm, collective. They're not hesitating. They're going right to the shooter. Look.
They hear the
You
shots.
hear the
They-
shooter? Watch. He's telling them.
They said, "What's good with
Oh, they didn't show it. Look.
But what happened?
it?" Long story
They
short,
go into the room.
And just
The
shoot him?
shooter turns around.
does-
Drop him. Drop him.
That's
Lay down, son. And listen, that's what we expect out of police
What
officers.
you need to do as an officer if that happens.
I'm going to say this. I've been accused before of being a police hater. I am not. I love good police.
Correct.
I love hero cops. What I don't like is crooked cops, and I don't like coward cops. What infuriates me is you'll see police officers pull over a guy for a busted taillight, and they're gung-ho. Get out of the car! Get down! Dude's clearly not a get down! You know, but then they approach an active shooter who is slaying children, and they're scared. And that's my problem, okay? If you're built like these Nashville police officers were, hey, I salute you. For real. You're the ultimate police officer, and much love and respect to you. But again, I salute you. But if you're one of these cops that beat on little old ladies at traffic stops, I can't respect that, you know? That's all we're saying. We want you to be heavy-handed where you're supposed to be heavy-handed, if that makes sense. Now, I will say this. I've seen incidents where some people need to just chill out, stop. Look, when I get pulled over by police, I actually got pulled over a few months back for running a red light. Let me tell you how the encounter went. I seen the red lights behind me. I slowly pulled over. I sat down, kept my seatbelt connected. The officer came up. I rolled down my window. How you doing, officer? Can I help you? Yes, you ran that red light, sir. Can I have your ID and insurance? Yes, you can, officer. Here you go. Gave him the info. He came back, gave me my ticket. Have a good day, officer. That's it. There's no need for nothing else. Because you know what I knew I would do? If I had an issue with the stop and the ticket, I'll go dispute that in court. I'm not going to sit on a roadside and argue with a cop, okay? Look, am I saying that we need to be bootlickers or that we can never dispute being pulled over? No, I'm not. But there's a time and place for everything, and I'm seeing some people that just want to argue for the sake of arguing, and to me that's stupid, okay? Let's get to Gaza. My subjects have taken a little longer. Let's get 2 subjects from each. Then we got to get to our sports segment. What do you got? Give me your 2 best subjects.
Look, I want to talk about technology in today's world, right? You see all this AI stuff that they got going on.
Yeah.
You know, they're taking Tupac's voice and writing AI raps.
Yeah.
Stop
They got
that.
a lot of that.
Stop
Stop
that.
that.
Now,
Yeah.
come on now. Knock it off. This particular AI program they ran, they wanted to see basically if it could make copies of itself and be more robust,
Right.
right? So what this program did is the AI itself went on this site called TaskRabbit, and it was able to take money and try to hire somebody on this site to get past one of those CAPTCHAs on those websites.
What?
Yeah, it went out of its way. The person even asked him if it was a robot trying to hire him, and they joked and said no.
Okay, so let me say this in response to AI, robots, all that stuff. Have you mofos never seen Terminator? Have you never seen iRobot?
Guys are crazy.
Okay, like not even being funny. When I used to see those movies and stuff, I thought maybe they were far-fetched. I thought maybe it was over the top and ridiculous. But as time goes on and we're making this stuff smarter and more independent, it could be dangerous. AI and robotic technology could be dangerous, you know. What do you think about one day in your lifetime, you may see robots working side by side with y'all, real standing working robots.
I've always thought about that. I was like, it's probably gonna happen.
You seen these
I wouldn't
automatic
trust that.
McDonald's,
I don't want that,
automatic
but it's
gas
probably gonna
stations?
Yeah,
Where you
yeah.
go in, there's no workers. You take your stuff, you pay with a card and everything. Come on, man. And you know this, I just read too that the response it gave to the worker asking if it was a robot, they said, "Nah, I have a vision impairment, and that's why I need you to try to do this capture for me because I can't really see
Oh
it."
my
It
god.
wouldn't acknowledge that it was a robot.
Wouldn't acknowledge it. It actually had to be forced through the program to reveal itself as a robot. It was coming up with some pretty believable lies.
Now you think about that, it lied.
It lied. It said, "I got a vision impairment."
So what's next? You know, if a robot will lie because it don't like to reveal itself as a robot, as they get more intelligent and more capable, what are they going to do
They're
next?
gonna have more
You see
power
those smart
over
cities.
time.
Now,
You know,
could you
smart
see
cities.
one possibly overtaking something one day or going haywire?
I believe so.
I could.
I think so, yeah.
I mean, what's far-fetched about it? If they're
already lying to people.
So that right, exactly. And that reminds me of an incident. I don't remember all the details, so I may get some of these details wrong, but the gist of it, there was a child chess champion playing an electronic chess game
I think I heard about this.
high level.
I think I heard about
Okay.
this.
The chess game, right as it was getting ready to lose, kept shocking the child. Kept shocking her because it didn't want to lose. So it resorted to that to stop this child from beating it. This was an old school electronic chess game. You know, it was computerized. But if that could happen then,
Yeah.
what are they capable of now? You know? world swings back. Sometimes we got to swing at the world, but sometimes the world swings back. I think we already talked about one of your segments, but we got one more. What do you got?
So I'm gonna just talk about those kids that got lost in the jungle.
Oh yeah,
There was,
yeah.
I think it was 4 kids. There was a plane crash in the Colombian jungle, and they were there for 40 days in the jungle. They were eating fruit and some seeds and stuff that they found in the wild.
Now, how old were these kids?
They were young.
Young children.
They were young. I mean, they weren't even teenagers yet. So they were kids.
We're talking about Amazon, the Amazon jungle,
the Colombian jungle. They
which is the
crashed,
Amazon.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they crashed right into it. It's enough to survive a plane crash, but then to survive after the plane crash for 40 days.
For those of you that don't know how dangerous the Amazon is, okay, you heard the sayings, it's a jungle out there, or, gangsters calling certain neighborhoods the jungle. There's a reason for that. A jungle is just full of danger. And when you're talking about the Amazon jungle, there's so many things inside of there that can kill you.
Aged 1 through 13.
That's just insane.
How many
What?
kids?
Aged 1 through 13.
How many kids? Wait.
There was 4 of them. The crash actually killed their mother and 2 other adults. So I guess it was just
And they survived for how long?
40 days.
That's insane.
How is that even possible? So, look, there's an old show. Me and my wife used to love this show called I Shouldn't Be Alive.
Oh yeah.
We watched it from front to end, okay? The second episode was about some guys that got lost in the Amazon jungle. There's bugs in the Amazon that'll kill you. There's spiders that'll kill you. Snakes. Look, the Amazon is full of things that'll kill you. For little children to survive for 40 days out there is nothing short of miraculous. Okay? Do you think you could survive 40 days in the Amazon?
Well, I mean, I'd thug it out, but
You give it a damn try, right?
Hey,
you
but you know what
definitely try, but that's a lot of days.
They watched their mother perish in that crash. That'd be hard to deal with on top of trying to
Little
survive
children.
out there. Yeah.
Little children, But it says something about the human will to live. Like, a lot of people don't realize that as a human, a lot of times we get put in these tough situations. It's just our nature to try to move forward and live, And I think that's what these kids did. But the fact they had a 1-year-old with them,
Yeah.
that's just
And he
crazy.
survived.
And he survived, yeah. So all of them survived.
All of them lived. They were in the hospital. They did the 40 days in the jungle, and it took them 37 days in the hospital to actually get back to where they were. But they lived. The military actually said they airdropped like a food package or something into the jungle somewhere where they thought they might have been, and they were actually able to locate it. So they were able to get some food out of that as well.
Oh, nice. So the kids found the food.
They found that. They were able to survive off the other stuff because there was something like passion fruit out there or something that they were eating.
How did they finally get out? Do you know the story?
They just got rescued somehow. I think maybe they just were able to trek their way to the closest part of being found. You know how technology is too.
Well, I'll tell you, last thing on this subject, you guys may not realize how dense both the Amazon jungle in South America and the Congo, which is in Africa, are so dense and so unexplored. Planes fly over these dense areas. In the Amazon, they see these old Mayan and Aztec cities, like giant buildings and stuff, but they can't get to them because they're so deep in the jungle. There's no way to get to them. People don't realize how dense and uninhabited and unexplorable those jungles are.
It actually says too, these were indigenous children.
Well, that explains a lot.
So they actually had extensive knowledge of the jungle, I guess.
That
But
makes
even
them
at, even at 1 and 5 and 13,
Yeah,
that's
still.
pretty impressive.
If they were domesticated children, I don't think they survived.
Let's talk about this. This is kind of it, right?
Okay.
This guy was, he got arrested for murder, right? It says it right here. He did a music video and basically gave himself up in the video. The first line of the song was, "I'm the reason why you dead." That was the opening bar, and that's what got him caught up in him. So
What?
So,
Wait.
The legal system.
He started out the rap with "I'm the reason why you dead." That was his first rap, like line in the song.
So in the world swings back, sometimes the legal system can be one of the calamities where the world tries to take you out. And I would just say, you know, if you're going to be out here bodying people, perhaps you shouldn't rap about it,
Yeah.
you know. Now, we got to ask ourselves, at what point do we say that's just art? That's just lyrics, you know? But if you're in the middle of an open homicide investigation, maybe you shouldn't be rhyming about anything that involves killing.
That's just a wild opening bar.
If it is true, bro's not even gonna hear that bar.
Yeah, I mean, you
What
know,
was the point?
I don't know if you guys heard about the kid. Well, I'm sure you didn't. There was a gang down in Dallas, young boys. They went and killed 3 brothers. And after they did so, they go back to the mother's house where the 3 brothers had lived. And they shoot a video outside saying, we turned this house into a haunted house. Their ghosts are in the house now.
Damn.
I mean, just sick, dude. Like, the world is full of calamities. Now, you know, look, there's a lot of people out there that won't hesitate to pull a burner, that won't hesitate to try to harm you in some way. So always say, keep yourself fit, trained, and well-armed. Defend yourself no matter what, and defend your loved ones.
We're gonna start off with Roblox, planning
Oh
on
my God.
introducing a dating
He was
feature
just telling me.
in their app. You
a
know, I
kid's
mean, I
game.
just thought we'd talk about
It
this
is.
because Z and Patchy played all the time. I don't want to see them dating nobody on Roblox.
What? No, what?
Nah, what the?
What?
Yeah,
It's like
Roblox is a game for kids.
Are they
as everybody
developing
knows.
it, or
But
is it already
it is in the
developed?
works.
Alright.
It is in the works.
Oh, it's coming.
for
man.
a dating feature in Roblox.
I'm not listening.
So wait a minute. So they can actually, quote unquote, date other so-called kids
Yeah.
on that.
Communicate and yeah, eventually I'm guessing date.
That's like GTA, because you know on GTA you can actually buy lap dances.
Yeah.
You can actually have, you know.
Well, look now, GTA.
GTA's
Well, if
rated
they make
M.
it similar to that though, I think that they're gonna make it to where you could do weird things in the
Well,
game.
they're-
Roblox is supposed to be
game.
little for kids.
Yeah.
It's a kid's game.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
GTA is supposed to be a mature game for adults. Like, most adults should know you don't let your kids play GTA, but Roblox? That is
That's
creepy.
where you cross the
Yeah,
line,
that's
you
the-
know? It's just getting weird, you know? I know there's older dudes who be on Roblox too, and they're especially weird.
Well, that's the thing. Like, is this for real? I just don't even see who came up with this idea. There's a conspiracy theory that there's a lot of predators that prey on the youth in these different entertainment sections, etc. And stuff like this makes me
Does not
wonder.
help.
It does not help. And it makes me want to just monitor everything my little ones are doing, you know, because you never know. Have you guys ever seen a show called Web of Lies? So
No, I've heard of it.
it's about people that get tricked on the internet and end up dying or killed. And if you see some of the stories where people go in there and pose and pretend to be different people just to be a predator, it is terrifying. But then even look on the lighter side, the old show Catfish.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, some of the reveals from that are just crazy. Like, there'll be a situation where this person thinks they're dating some guy in California. The whole time it's their best friend, tricking them. You know, you just never know. And that's why it's not safe to reveal too much on the internet. You
Right.
know.
I saw yesterday that Team USA lost to Canada, and they revoked. They will not receive a medal.
So
You know.
here we go. This is Elijah's section, and really it's Justice and Elijah's section. It's a new thing, Swing at the World Sports. And Justice just jumped right into it. I want to say this. Are we talking soccer or what sport are we talking?
USA basketball.
Oh,
That's
I thought it was funny because did y'all hear that Olympic sprinter comment about NBA
Yes.
basketball?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I think I might have
And
seen it. What
he said, "World champions of what?
Oh yeah, yeah.
World champions of what?" And I feel like he's real happy now after seeing this, you know. But
there's a but. There's,
yes,
yeah.
you go ahead.
They can't have NBA players for the USA team.
Oh,
So,
that explains
really?
that.
Yeah,
all
that's
right,
the
that-
only-
Since
yeah,
when?
yeah, that
Since when?
Since forever ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Since what?
You guys-
2016.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's been
something
at
like
least.
that.
was
So
it
they
16?
stopped allowing
Amateur
NBA.
players?
Yeah.
College players?
Yeah,
Basically.
amateur college, and do they allow G League? I'm pretty sure they allow G
I'm pretty
League
sure they
players,
allow
too.
G League, D League, all that.
Yeah.
Because you guys are familiar with the Dream Team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
You know,
of course.
Jordan and all them, like, come on. So they stopped that.
Yeah.
That's not allowed
basically-
anymore.
Basically. Yeah.
So I would say to the sprinter, what's that guy's name? Does anybody know the sprinter's
I don't
name?
remember his name.
Hold
That's
on.
ironic.
I'm going to find that.
He's
Well,
getting a
I
lot
don't
of
know his
hate
name.
though.
Yeah.
From what I saw.
Is it
You know?
Justin
I
Gatlin?
mean,
Is it Justin Gatlin?
I got you.
Hold on. I don't think it's Justin Gatlin. Noah Lyles.
okay.
Noah Lyles. Okay.
Got lying his last name. I don't even.
Well, there you go. Listen.
Let's start there.
Noah, I would say to you, okay, as long as the NBA is not allowed in these Olympic trials, then I would say, yeah, the other countries, etc., have a good chance of winning. But everybody knows that the best talent in basketball across the world is in the NBA.
People come overseas to play.
Yeah,
I would
it's,
just say that America is the best of the best at
I-
everything.
well, listen, he's very patriotic. Look,
We are the best of the best at
Patriotic and
sports.
he's extremely patriotic.
Come on, man.
Here's what I'm going to say about that. I'm a little disappointed. My beloved ultimate sport is boxing. And for the longest, all the world champs were American for the most part. And now that's not happening, especially in the heavyweight, which kills me because for the longest, the heavyweight champ, with the exception of Lennox Lewis, was mostly American. You know, you look back, so many great heavyweight champs. I can name them: Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, Joe Frazier, Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield. I can go on for days. We're American. Now we got this guy Tyson Fury that just, come on, America.
We
What are y'all doing?
We got to get man in
What
the
are we
mirror
doing?
in there. We got to get this.
Put the up on it.
Just one of these.
You know?
All you
Just
need.
real quick.
But I'll say this, you know, as far as basketball goes and football, you're right. I may even go so far as baseball too, although Japan and China do have some good baseball players.
What are you gonna put
Yeah,
MMA
yeah,
in
they
there?
do. They do.
But now here's where Americans get shocked and where I got shocked. The sports we love so much here in America aren't even the biggest world sports. The biggest sport in the world, as we all know, is soccer.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's called soccer.
Hey, now I will say though that in comparison, like to the Super Bowl, we don't have other countries coming and playing in the Super Bowl. It's only America.
No.
So and now to say if we were to increase and put other countries into the Super Bowl, maybe then it would grow, maybe exponentially.
Maybe.
Well, you know, they've talked about that. They talk about putting a team up in Canada.
They don't
talk
want
about
to
one in,
first us.
the
UK.
Oh yeah, I was
And
about to say
Mexico.
UK. They was playing.
And Mexico.
UK
wouldn't mind
definitely
that.
don't want to play us in no.
No, they'll
football,
get
right?
y'all will
They
get.
they
Go
get
drink
scrapped
this.
up in there.
Listen, you put together the dream team: Lamar Jackson, all the Ravens.
Derrick
you know.
Henry.
Yeah, exactly.
Face. We
Come
put
on,
face out
imagine
there.
Derrick
Back up.
Henry.
You ain't getting my motherfucking ligaments blown out here.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. So, what do you got for us for your sports segment, man? I want to hear what else.
I'm gonna talk about the man, the myth, the legend, Sean Strickland. He did
Oh,
not just
USA,
He
baby.
upset
beat. He
the
did not
world.
just beat Israel Adesanya.
He
He beat
upset
the
the world.
hell out of Israel Adesanya.
Did he beat
rocked-
him that badly?
Yeah, he rocked him in
They
the
said
first
they
round.
ran him down the
Did
whole
you
time.
did you
basically.
see?
I
I
didn't
didn't.
really.
I
And the
didn't-
craziest part, he used the Philly shell
Yeah.
the
Really?
entire time. Philly shell, checking kicks, and he was just boxing the entire time.
Really?
That's all he was doing.
Hey,
5
but
rounds.
Did you see him shit talking
Oh
Israel
my
at the
God,
end?
yeah.
What was he saying to him? Oh my god.
He was like, "Come on, fight me."
Yeah, and Israel was just backing up and
And
just
he
moving
called
with
him.
his
He
hands
called
down.
him an amateur after the fight.
Wow.
Against somebody that's 6-0 in professional boxing, he outboxed him.
You know, I thought it was really humiliating for Israel.
It was.
It really was.
It would have to be. And I'm going to say this. Listen, people don't like to hear it, but I promise you. I was telling a young man the other day, he came into the gym and, he has aspirations of fighting MMA. And he said, Face, I do want to learn boxing, but I'm going into MMA, so I need to work on this and that. And I said, no, you need to start with your hands. Here's my stats for you. and for all of you, in MMA, something like 78% of knockouts come from fists. Okay? So right there, that stands to reason that if you can punch good, you got a good shot. Now, people always say, well, you take up your boxer and you throw him in the MMA cage. Look, it's no different than an MMA fighter going to boxing. They're going to take 5-6 months and practice their boxing. You take a boxer, have them polish up on checking leg kicks and defending some takedowns, they're going to win some fights, okay? Now, are they going to go and be world champ? Nobody's saying that. But the point is, people talk like a boxer cannot go and do any damage in MMA. That's BS. It's been done. I'm going to say this. They always bring up James Toney. James Toney, Randy Couture proved that boxers can't do it. I'm going to bring up Ray Mercer versus Tim Sylvia. A heavyweight UFC champ versus a heavyweight boxing champ. Tim Sylvia got sparked in 30 seconds. Then I'm going to bring up my favorite guy, Shannon Briggs, got into a kickboxing match with Tom Erickson, slept him. Butterbean went. We all know who Butterbean is. He won a few MMA matches. My guy, Francois Botha. If you don't know who Botha is, he fought Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis. He fought everybody. He went and won some MMA matches. He also beat two of the biggest named kickboxers in kickboxing history in the kickboxing ring, and all he did was box. Am I saying boxers are going to go over and dominate MMA? No. But I'm saying take a good boxer, put him in there, he's got a fighting chance. Shout out to Strickland. Let me say this. I'm not a Sean Strickland fan. Something about him had always rubbed me the wrong way. But today, after what you're telling me, I am a Sean Strickland fan. So you seen the fight? Do you feel he used good boxing?
Oh yeah, it was a good stand-up game. He caught him with that right and dropped him, and then he just hopped on top and just.
You know, he just kept on throwing a 1-2.
Yeah.
And just kept on catching him.
So he was
Basically the
checking
whole
leg kicks.
He was walking him down the entire time, checking leg kicks, using Philly shell, 1-2, 1-2, non-stop, fundamentals.
Sean, you got a new fan in me, baby. Hey, much love. Good win. Oh, now wait a minute. Before we go to the next subject, I thought Adesanya was American too, though.
No, he's what is he? Australian?
I want to see.
He's from the UK. He's from the UK.
That's
Hey,
what it is.
Sean, way to represent for the US, baby. Let's go.
New Zealand.
What you got?
That's where
New
that
Zealand?
comes
Yeah,
from.
New
To
Zealand.
talk
New
about.
I
Zealand.
know he has a deep
It's Joe
accent.
Burrow.
Joe Burrow. Let's talk about
Let's
this.
talk about his
Shiesty.
game last night. 82 yards, no touchdowns.
Whoa.
Let's
Who'd
talk
they
about
play?
it. Under 50% of a completion rate.
And this was against the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah. And Deshaun Watson outclassed him.
What was Deshaun's stats? I'm curious.
He had
I know he didn't live up to expectations last year, but
Let's talk about it. He didn't do much better, but he had 150 yards. He had a touchdown. He also had a rushing touchdown.
oh, nice,
Yeah.
nice.
We're talking about Joe Burrow. He shit the bed.
Okay, so I want to talk about this because Joe Burrow is the NFL's darling, right under Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Patrick Mahomes makes me want to just vomit. I hate it. I despise that dude. Joe Burrow's right behind him. This is my thing. They all talk like Joe Burrow is the next GOAT. Here's the problem. He ain't won shit yet, okay? He went to a Super Bowl, lost, tried to go back last year, lost in the AFC Championship game. He's making some noise in the playoffs, but he ain't won nothing yet, okay? He hasn't won anything more than Lamar. People say he has. How so? He won some playoff games, but here's the truth.
Who has an MVP?
That's one. Here's two. If you don't finish the season with a ring on your finger, you finish the same way as everybody else, okay? You either win a ring or you don't. I don't care how far you get. You either win a ring or you don't. Joe Burrow ended his seasons just like Lamar did, with a loss, okay? Do you think Joe Burrow's the next GOAT?
Absolutely. I mean, it's too young. He's too young for anybody to even say that at this point. I didn't know people were saying
I got
that.
one more thing also.
Yeah. What do you got?
So we going to talk about the Dolphins. Two had 460 passing yards with 3 touchdowns against the Chargers.
Okay.
And Tyreek Hill, he had 212 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns.
Look,
Tyreek
Against
just
the
give him the run
Chargers.
straight.
An average
It's
NFL
like you
defense.
do.
the
Still put up
Dolphins.
36 points.
The Dolphins are scary. Okay, look
Very
what
scary.
they've got down there. They got Hill. What's that other Waddle?
Yeah.
Jalen Waddle.
Jalen Waddle's
Waddle,
nice
yeah.
too.
They're stacked. They brought in more people this year.
Dolphins
Okay,
actually looking good.
I feel like they're
Yeah,
going to be
facts.
either second
I
or
bet
first in the
Corey's happy.
AFC, in my opinion.
but here's what I'm going to say. I am not sure that I agree. And the reason I say that is this: Tua can't stay healthy. He's made of glass.
Yeah.
Tua is made of glass.
But what if?
Yeah.
There's already been a lot of injuries
It's
so
a
far.
big what if.
If Tua stays healthy, I'm with you.
Exactly.
If he stays healthy, then the Dolphins are terrifying. But I know a thing or two, and you know a thing or two about fragile players.
Yeah.
Because we got Ronnie Stanley. We got freaking J.K. Dobbins.
Y'all have
Jimmy
Odell
Smith.
now.
Yeah.
You remember Jimmy
Odell's the
Smith?
same way.
Jimmy Smith,
He got
10
injured every
interceptions,
year.
then broken back. Matter of fact, he comes out, runs out for the season opener. He broke his neck, every year. So I'm just saying, if Tua can stay healthy, the Dolphins are scary. They got a boatload of good players. They terrify me. But how about them Ravens? I know.
How about them birds?
You know, we got a new offensive coordinator. We got a lot of new pieces. Lamar got paid. Our defense looked down. Look, we had a pass rush yesterday.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
We had a pass rush.
You saw Matt at BK.
Yeah,
Off.
5 sacks, y'all. And listen, that Texans D is competent, and their O-line is very good. And that pass rush got in there. Listen, we've ran well over in this episode. Everybody that watched, I hope y'all were entertained. We'll be back next Monday, same bat time, same bat channel. Listen, sometimes the world kicks your butt, so sometimes you gotta swing back at the world. Listen, see y'all soon. Check us out. Follow us on all social media. Love y'all. Peace.